Good morning. Welcome to Sculpt all levels. Today we're going to use weights and a ball. If you don't have weights, you can use canned goods, gallon jugs of water to squeeze your own beautiful muscles. If you don't have a ball, it's fine. You can grab a couple pillows or opt out of the prop entirely. As always, don't do anything that doesn't feel right for your body. Breaks are great. My name's Audra. Let's get started. We're going to get started standing. So everybody rise. And we're going to start with a little scan, like little body scan. Check in with your feet, right? Are your heels like so rooted that your toes are up? Are your heels elevated? Or do you have like nice weight distribution evenly between heels and toes, evenly between side to side? You can even shift your weight to one side a little bit and then the other side. And just kind of see if like one side your hip wants to dip and one side it wants to go up and over, or if you can maintain a fairly structurally sound place. Good. Coming back to center, just check in with your knees, right? Are they hyperextended? Are they bent? Or are they just in a nice neutral position over your ankles, right? And everybody's neutral looks a little different, so don't fret too much about it. And then same with hips, right? Are your hip bones pointing down? Are they pointing up or straight ahead like car headlights? And then if you think of your hips like a soup pot and your ribs as the lid, is steam gonna escape forward, back, or is it just gently set on top? And then shoulders, are they forward, back, or just set? And then where are your ears, right? So find your neutral. And then we nod, hollow up through the front of our body and just roll all the way down. And hold at the end and just kind of see where your body is. And shift your weight back a little and then forward a little. So we're just kind of going back and forth gently, keeping your heels on the ground. Try not to go back so far that your toes have to lift. And just notice if that changes the stretch, right? So we're trying to find calf, hamstring, and then take your hands up and over to one side, get a nice side bend stretch through that one side. Breathe. And maybe you feel outer hamstring here. Maybe you feel outer calf here. It's just information. And then other side. Couple more breaths. Come back to center. Roll all the way up. Trying to put intention into your feet as well as you roll up. Now we're going to find our abs just a little bit. So find your neutral and place one hand behind your back, one hand on your low abs. And on your exhale, just think about drawing your belly button away from your hand slightly without pressing into your back, right? Good. And then relax. And on your next exhale, just think about a little sandwich, right? Pressing both pieces of bread together. Good. And then relax. Good. Everybody feel how it just connects a little bit? Good. Because we don't have to squeeze and clench all the way. If you're having to like brace as your abs draw in, it's bringing tension into your neck. So it's just slightly in, not up, right? We want our diaphragm to be able to work. Good. Last two. Good. Last one. Now what we're going to do, take our hands, take them on our ribs. So think about when you inhale, breathe into your thumbs, right? Breathe into the sides. And then as you exhale, everything is just going to hug towards your belly button a little bit. Yeah, good. Relaxing from the shoulders. Just going to sing to you guys today. It's happening, right? Good. Couple more. Good. And so this, if you're filling your body three-dimensionally with breath, actually helps support your spine on your inhale, right? Because it helps increase intra-abdominal pressure evenly. And then on your exhale, everything connects concentrically, right? So one more breath like this. Great. And we're gonna roll down and then find that from a different position. And then we're gonna plank. It's gonna be amazing. So roll down. Come all the way down to hands and knees. And if for any reason it doesn't feel great to be on your hands, you can always be on your fists or forearms. Find a neutral spine here so we're not tucking. Same thing. Just exhale, draw the belly button up slightly, ribs in. And then inhale, everything expands. Mostly your intercostals. So each of those ribs should expand. And then exhale, drawing everything in. Good. Suze, flatten out through your back a little bit. Yeah, there you go. Good. 2 more. Lovely. Now, all we're gonna do is on your exhale, start your exhale by bringing everything kind of towards center, and then gently start to curl your tailbone down to the ground without going into a giant Halloween cat, right? We're trying to keep our thoracic pretty neutral here. And then widen through your sits bones, come back to neutral. Inhale, wide. Exhale, draw everything to center, and then curl your tailbone. Or think of your hip bones lifting. Good. And then back to center. 2 more like this. Last one. Now come back to center and we're just gonna move through our thoracic. So first, we're getting a little bit of shoulder blades. So sink your shoulder blades together, your chest comes forward. Then push into the floor, widen your collarbones, widen your scapula, and then you can round. So it's 2 separate moves. Back to center, slide the shoulders together, right? So the whole spine goes towards the ground, then the whole spine lifts, and then you can make a little bit of that Halloween cat shape. And again. So we're trying to separate out retraction, protraction, and then we're also trying to separate out thoracic flexion. Last one. Come back to center. Everything just comes back to neutral. Let your ribs come down so your shoulder blades come together. Protract, hold. Don't press into the Halloween cat. Find your abs, gentle tiny curl of your tailbone only. Slide 1 foot out. Push down into the ground. Other foot comes to meet it. Good. Yeah. Good. Think about the belly button lifting you. Or if I was to come and just kind of pull your hips up a little bit. Yeah. Good. Lengthening through your ears. Good. Suze, bring your ears forward more. Good. And yeah. And then you can bend one knee. Inhale. Exhale, reach it back. Other side. Now, if you're on your fists, you can either just be on your fists or you can hold on to weights. If you're on your forearms, it's fine, but you're gonna have to be in a slightly different position in order to bend that knee underneath you. Good. Pressing up towards the sky a little bit more. Good. 2. Last one. Knees down. Press yourselves into a rest position. Rolling out your wrists. How'd that feel? So good? Great. Coming back to your quadruped to start. Good. And we're going to bring one knee towards our chest. Curl, look down at it. Then bring it down, other side. Use your breath here. So exhale, pull your ribs in and up, and then use abs as well as hip flexors to get that knee towards you, right? Got a couple more. Trying not to over round your thoracic. And here's the thing, right? If you tend to be round in your thoracic already, it's easy to get a lot more of the rounding. If you tend to be flat in your thoracic, it's okay to try to press and round a little bit more, right? Just like if you tend to overarch in your lumbar, your focus should be more of a tuck. And if you tend to be rounded in your lumbar, your focus should be more of a neutral, right? Everybody's body's patterns are different. One more each side. Then bring your knee towards your face, rotate it towards your opposite elbow and back. Face, opposite elbow. Now, if that works for you, stay there. If you would like more challenge, come into your plank. And then we hold and back. Hold and back. I'm going to use my weights for a few because my wrists don't love this today, right? So listen to your body and where you are at that moment. 3, 3, 2 more. Last set. Knees down, rest position, rolling out through your wrists. Good. How did those feel, everybody? Great. Fantastic. So we're going to be on our forearms for this next one. And before we come into our plank, I want you to fill the back line of your body with oxygen. Exhale, draw it all together. Okay? Now slide one foot at a time out, widening your stance slightly. If you need to be on your knees here, it is fine. Now, rotate your feet and hips to one side. So now you've got the sides of your feet on the ground, hold, and then you can rotate the rest of your body, finding side plank. Good. Now, if you need to be on your knee, no problem, okay? Think about your fingertips reaching towards the sky rather than behind you. Good, and then come back. Make sure your feet are wide, rotate, hold for a second, and then bring the rest of your body with you. Ribs in, fingertips up. If you let your hands come back behind you, it causes rotation of the rib cage and it's harder to find that stability, right? And then back to center. And then if you like, you can just start to rotate. Slowly come back to center, rotate. If you're on your knees, you can either keep both of them bent or extend the top leg. If you're on your knees and hands, it's fine, same thing. Putting more pressure in through your fingertips than your thumbs. Good. 2. Last one, each side. Make sure you're breathing, everybody. Bottom glute helps, top inner thigh helps. And then back to center, knees come down. Press yourselves into a rest position. Hands up and over to one side, press your hips away. And then other direction. While we're here, let your back just gently relax. You can have your hands either behind your head or on your shoulders. We're just going to widen through our collarbones, elbows come out to the side, and then back down. And again. So it's less of a retraction, more width. And then if you want to retract at the end, you can. But because we're thinking of wide collarbones, like you're trying to take off a big jacket, rather than squeezing them all together, yeah. Good. So widen through your elbows, widen through your collarbones, and then if you want, you can squeeze the bottom tips of your shoulder blades together. 2 more. Try not to shove the shoulders down your back. It's not a bad thing to be able to depress your shoulders, but they also need to be able to move in a more neutral. Last one. Good. Bring your hands to the floor. Tuck your toes under. Press your hips up. And then walk your hands towards your feet or feet towards your hands. Rolling all the way to standing. I'm gonna move my weights. Good. Nice job, everybody. Let's get those glutes talking a little, yeah? Find feet together. Nobody seems excited about glutes talking. We're gonna make it happen. Okay, squeeze those inner thighs together like you're trying to pop a balloon. And then squeeze your glutes a little bit. Yeah, so think about that external rotation a little bit and then relax. Now let's just try something all together. Place your hands on your cheeks a little bit. Now, without squeezing the inner thighs, just squeeze your buns. Feel how that divot really increases if you're really trying to squeeze hard. That can be because your deep hip rotators are like, let me help. So now relax. Now we're gonna try to find inner thigh and slightly more superficial glute, okay? So inner thigh and then glute. See if it dips a little bit, but not quite as much, right? Good. So if you start feeling SI joint stuff or like low back stuff, don't squeeze forward as much. Try to find the inner thigh and then a little press out, okay? Now, inner thighs, glutes, we're gonna slide them into like a little half squat / athletic position. Now, as we're here, yes, the knees can go past the toes as long as it feels okay. But I don't want just to move at the knees. The hips still need to move, okay? So stick your butt out more, Suze. There you go. And then press into the floor, lift back up. So we're trying to get ankles, knees, and hips all moving, yeah? And then slide down. Good. And push into the floor to lift you. Good. Starting small. Don't worry. We'll find our glutes. I know you were all worried. Good. 2 more. Lovely. Last one. You get to hold it down. Yeah. Good. Now, making sure that we're looking forward and making sure that you're not feeling tension in your low back, right? So if you are, sink your hips back a little bit more, then you can lift your torso slightly more upright, okay? All right, tap one toe behind you. Hold. Hopefully you feel the glute on that stable side, yeah? And then tap the foot back. Same side, tap the same toe out, bring it in. Good. Few more. Good. Beautiful, you guys. Anybody not feeling that stabilizing glute? Great, and it's the first move, right? So if you start really feeling a lot of fatigue, take a second, right? Take a break, it's fine. Breaks are great. I love a micro break, and I'll tell you why. Because if we get to a point of fatigue where our form is starting to falter, then we're starting to train that faltered form, right? And so sometimes tiny little micro break is all you need to reset and then find it again, right? Couple more. And then tap that foot in, hold. Good. Now, making sure that our ribs are gently drawing towards our belly button, nice neutral spine. Hands can be on your hip bones. Rotate your hip bones around your thigh bones, sliding your sits bones back, hold. Everybody feel that glute a lot? Good. Push into your foot. As you push into your foot, you rotate your hip bones back. Good. Now, this knee is still gonna stay bent, okay? And we don't need to go so far down that our back rounds, right? So if this is your range, that's okay, okay? A lot of times, especially with hamstring flexibility, for some reason, hubris takes over, and we decide that we want to go as low as we possibly can to get that stretch, right? It isn't necessarily bad, but then our back starts having to take over, right? So think more about your tail feathers reaching behind you, still breathing three-dimensionally to help support your spine. How's that glute feeling? Yeah, great. If you're like, I want more work, cool, pick up your foot. If you want more work, pick up your other foot. I'm kidding. I was like, please don't jump unless you just really want to. But all of you are on those squishy mats. So I was like, if you're also trying to add plyometrics, please be gentle. Good. Nice. Good, couple more. 3. 2 more. Now we get to hold it down. So make sure you're ready, because we're holding it. Making sure that you're shifting your weight back slightly so your back doesn't have to hold as much of the tension. Now, foot up or down. All we're gonna do, rotate your hip bones towards that front thigh. Slide that thigh bone back. Yeah, so rotate towards, yeah, there you go. And then press into the foot, bring it back. So you're letting your hip bone rotate towards that stable leg and then back. Yeah. Now, if you sink into it, I want you to think about sliding the thigh bone back behind you rather than letting it go out to the side. Good. Now, if you're like, that's too easy, Audra, no problem. You can always then open the hips up, but don't let the knee come in. So knee tracking over that second or third toe is important, right? Good. 2 more. Anybody not feeling their glute a little bit? Okay. 2. Last 1. Good. And come all the way up. Give yourself a little figure 4 stretch. And this is exciting. So if your tailbone tucks, it's not the end of the world, but hold where you are. And then think about your sits bones reaching back so you flatten out through your back. That is probably a deep hip rotator stretch. And then can sink down and back. So one of the cool things that I found out not too long ago, and I was like, how come nobody talks about this? Your piriformis is an external rotator, but if it's 60 to 90 degrees or higher, it starts becoming an internal rotator, which is why this still stretches your like external rotators, even though you're in external rotation. I just thought it was neat. We're going to the other side. Nobody else is excited about that. Yeah, duh. I don't want to hear that from you. Squeeze and sink, because I know that that's absolutely not accurate. We're going to tap and bring it in and tap. Good. Suze, yes, accurate. Nerd, 100%. Good. How's this side feeling? Cool. Good. Reach. Nice job. How's that? This fresh, exciting side, right? Hasn't been destroyed yet. Yeah. Just a few more. 3. 2 more. Last one. And then we get to hip hinge. So just hold, push into your foot a little bit, keep that knee bent, widen through your sits bones as you go down. Now, this first one especially, feel the eccentric load on that glute, then push and lift. Yeah. So the cool thing about working your eccentrics or your negative is it actually will help you get stronger faster. Good. Good. Your knee feeling okay on this side?
Yeah, I was thinking to myself, like, it feels much deeper on this side.
Bend your knee for me. Yeah, and then hinge a little bit more. Yeah, how's that? Better. Good. Yeah. Yeah, and most of us have, like, it's all interesting because it's typically not just one weak side and one strong side, but there are certain strategies that our bodies like to employ, right? It's like, oh, well, I'm not quite strong enough to do this move I'm being asked to do, so I'm going to find a way around it. So 2 more. And of course, if you want, you can lift that foot. Good. And up. And 3. 2 more. And then guess what we get to do? We get to hold this last one. We get to add that internal rotation. Yeah, that toe can tap down. And those hip bones just rotate to that thigh. Thigh bone slides back. And push into the foot, help yourself back. Now, as you rotate, you can either just kind of fall into it, oh, hey, what's up? Or you can think about that inner thigh helping, because our inner thigh helps with internal rotation, right? So think about the inner thigh pulling back in the socket, and then the glute helps drive the hips back. Yeah, couple more. And of course, if you want, you can add external rotation. So you pull with that inner thigh, and then keep that knee in line with your second or third toe as your hips open, and then back. Good. Couple more. Should feel good or exciting, but not necessarily painful. You okay, Suze? Okay, just saw that expression. It's fair. Good. 2 more. Hey, everybody, I know this is a weird compliment, but nice job on your feet. And then give me that figure 4 stretch. So in response to compliments this year, instead of thank you, I expect you all to just say thank you so much for noticing, right? Like, yeah. Yeah. You can tuck and relax. Couple more. 2. And last 1. Nice job. All right. So now let's push into the floor again. Inner thighs, squeeze. Then you can lift a foot. That's it. We're just finding a little bit of balance. Yeah. Hey, great job there, friends. Now, if you're like, cool, balance is something I really need to work on, let's work on it. Yeah. So we're going to add our visual system. So our ocular system, bring finger in front of your face. Now, do not move your head, but do not stop looking at your finger. Unless you have to, right? Now, if you can, keep looking at your finger without moving your head as it starts to go out to the side. Now, if you can, keep looking at your finger as it comes back and across. Now, if you're like, whoa, that's way too intense, tap your toe down slightly. Right? All of you are on the squishy mat and barefoot, which is amazing because that's working your intrinsic foot stabilizers as well. 1 more. And then other side. Yeah, it's exciting, yeah? Good. Squeeze, press. Yeah. I think it depends, right? So, yeah. So if you're dynamic, like if your foot is just like a lower arch, but it works, then it shouldn't necessarily be much harder. If it's a dynamically flat foot, like it doesn't know how to stabilize itself, then it's going to be more challenging. Does that make any sense? Yeah. So Let's do the other side. So for example, my boyfriend just has low arches, but dynamically he can mostly stabilize his foot. Whereas like I have pretty high arches, and on one side I'm fine, on the other side, it doesn't like to stabilize. So on the side that doesn't like to stabilize is a lot harder. And once again, if you need to, tap that toe down. How do your feet feel, you guys? They working hard or hardly working now? Last one. And feet can come down. Nice job. All right, come back to your athletic stance for me. Yeah, hi friends. Slide one foot out. No. And then we're gonna drag ourselves down into a little split squat. Yeah. Now push down to lift back up. And then other side. So reconfigure, slide. Think about that hamstring pulling you down, bless you, as you come down. Once again, it's okay to let your knee go past your toe as long as it doesn't hurt your knee, right? The other thing to think about is since it's more of a split squat as opposed to a lunge, our weight is mostly on this front leg, okay? So your chest might end up closer to that knee or mid thigh rather than on your back leg, okay? So we're trying to kind of ignore the back leg to a certain extent and focus on the front. Good. Yeah. A few more. Okay. How's that feeling, everybody? Doing okay? Fantastic. So now we can add on, if you're ready. If you're not ready, stick with these. Deal? Great. Now if you're ready, switch legs down low. And then see if you can keep less weight on that back toe. And switch legs down low. Guess what? This is important for getting up and down off the ground, right? Yeah. Good. Yeah, beautiful.
Are we switching legs?
Yes, keep switching, yeah. Yeah. Nice. A lot of times, as we age especially, it gets really hard to get up and down off the ground. And I think part of it is we forget how, right? We're often so used to being so upright that this can feel scary. Or if we have a lot of tension on our knees, for whatever reason, it feels like it could be painful. So we want to make sure that we have all of our muscles helping us here. Nice job. Almost there. So proud of all of you. Last set. Good. Nice job. Grab your weights. Now, if you're like, I'm so done with balance work, totally fine. Keep both feet on the floor. It's great. Otherwise, we're going to switch one leg to another. But first, just let kind of gravity pull your hands down a little. Yeah. And just exhale. Give me a little bicep curl. And then think control that lower on the way down. Yeah. And then bring it up. Good. Squeeze that bicep. Show me your guns. Yeah. And then slowly lower. And if you want, lift one foot. Squeeze them. Yeah. I know you are. So if you're like, well, I know I've got them, but I don't feel them that much for some reason. Your biceps, let's talk about it. You guys keep going, are an elbow flexor, but they're also a supinator, okay? So if you want your bicep to do even more, start with the palms down and then rotate, okay? It's more exciting, isn't it? Yeah, and then slowly decelerate. Good. And then a few more. Good. And then if you're ready, we're just gonna switch feet. Yeah? Yeah, that's it. Yeah. Same arm move, yeah. If at any point you need to set your weights down, or tap your toe, it's okay, breaks are great. Good. 3, 2, last one like this. Oh, as I said it, almost went. All right, so shoulders relaxed out of your ears. Now, as we do this, let's chat. It is not about here. We don't want that shoulder to come up and over. So we want to set our shoulder blades the opposite way. So when we extend and then even row, it's getting our lower traps more than our pec minor. Cool? Great. Glad we had that talk. So think about rolling your shoulders forward. Rolling forward, yeah. And then it's less of a retraction, but more of an unwinding. Yeah. Elbows back. And then just squeeze your triceps. Hold. Yeah. Hold. Beautiful. You all look great. Feel how the back of your arm is working? This is where we're going each time, okay? Then bend, and again. I think a ghost stopped our music. I want you to hold at the back. So we've got that nice isometric contraction. You guys keep going. Oh dear. Song will literally be in my head for a month, but it's gonna happen. Good. Reach and hold. Maybe. Yep. Yeah, how you guys feeling? Great. 3 more. Making sure that we're just resetting the shoulders each time. Yeah. Once again, it's a wide collarbone, like you're taking off a jacket. Hold this last one. Squeezing at the back of the arm. Now, reach forward. Keep those collarbones wide. Push down and back, straight arms, hold. Yeah. And forward. And it doesn't have to be super far forward, right? We're just letting gravity do its job. Now, the cool thing about our triceps, get ready. You guys ready to have your minds blown? So they all attach at the same place on your elbow, but the rest of them attach at different places. Only one head of your triceps crosses your shoulder, and they all have like different muscle fiber types in them. One is more fast twitch, one is more slow twitch, one is a delightful combination. So one thing that helps us get different parts of our tricep is slightly different shoulder position. And with that in mind, we're bringing our arms overhead. Yeah. And then just bend the elbows, reach and squeeze. Now, I'm gonna come down to my knees so you guys can see what we're doing. And if you'd like, you can all come down to a knee. And then when you hold, add on a little balance. So keep those ribs closed. Then you add a little balance challenge. Yeah, it's hard, isn't it? So use your breath. Yeah, 2. And then if you're doing the kneeling balance, switch legs. Good. And do you guys feel how triceps feel a little different overhead as they did 4, 3, 2 more. We're almost there. Last one. And come on down. Everybody come down to the ground. Don't worry. We'll do some squats at the end, but we're going to take a break. We're going to take the ball. We're going to pop it between our knees. And we're going to find shoulder position before we add weight, okay? So put your hands on your shoulders and just kind of let them roll forward. Oh, hey, what's up? I've been looking at a computer screen all day, right? And then instead of retracting, just roll them the opposite direction. Yeah. And then roll them forward and roll them the opposite direction. If you have trouble finding the scapula, think about your elbows. Elbows point back a little, elbows point forward. Yeah. 2 more. Boom. So instead of pulling back, point your elbows forward. Yeah. And then point your elbows back, and then point your elbows forward. There you go. Last one. Now hold this position, okay? This is the position we're gonna be on the floor in, okay? So make sure that you can find that posterior tipping of your scapula. That should help your shoulder blades be flat on the floor, okay? So keep that as you reach your hands up towards the sky, and then widen through your elbows and collarbones as they come down. Now, I don't need them at a goalpost position, okay, and press. If you have shoulder restriction, keep your elbows more at an A position rather than a T position, okay? Couple more here. I might sneeze right in my mask and right in the mic, so I apologize to anybody who has to deal with that. All right, so now if you want, we're gonna take weights and add on, okay? Keep the shoulder blades nice and flat, posteriorly tipped, and then press up, and then slowly let them come down. And then press up, slowly let them come down. Few more here. Leading more with your pinky finger side than your thumb. So it's the intention of the serratus helping as much as the pec, okay? 2 more. Last one. And then we can bring the hands together and tricep dip, different position of the shoulder. So now instead of the elbows being like in line with your ears, they're gonna point towards the sky. If you want more challenge, separate your hands. If you need a little bit of support because your elbows or shoulders need it, hands can be together. We have 5. Keep it slow on the way down for 2 reasons. 1, the stability of slowing it down will help you create power later. 2, I don't want you to bonk yourself in your head with your weights. 2, last 1. Set your weights to the side. Nice job, you guys. Go ahead, bring your hands behind your head. Spiral your elbows forward. Shoulder blades draw down your back. Now, let's just experiment with a couple of these, okay? So first one, we're gonna come into a chest lift. Just think about shortening the distance between your ribs and your hips when you come up. Now, look at the lower part of your abdominals, right? If they kind of made a little loaf shape, that just means your rectus abdominis is more active than your transverse abdominis, okay? So come on down. Now envision coming up and over a beach ball. See if your muscles responded the same, right? And come down. Now on this one, imagine sinking the front of your abs down before you move. See which one feels the best for you, and that is what you're going to do, okay? Couple more here. Giving the ball a little squeeze. Nice little hold at the top. Bring your hands forward. Push into an imaginary surface. Hands come back behind your head. Hold. Feel your shoulder blades. Okay? Should be fun. Now, slide your shoulder blades to one side. Back to center. Slide them to the other side. Good. So it's like a typewriter position. I just realized so many people have never used or seen a typewriter. So it's like you're swiping right or left on Tinder, right? Like what other swiping is there, you guys? Okay, couple more. Last one, each direction. Center, lengthen down. Now, we're not going to move our spine the same way, right? Our spine is what kind of moved us. Now we're going to rotate our ribs, trying to keep the spine centralized, okay? Sound great? Good. Come on up. Find your shoulder blades barely tapping the floor, and we rotate up and over on one side. Come back to center, other side. Now, the exciting thing is our hips are probably going to want to help, whether it's a shift or a lift. So first couple don't count, right? Just see where they are and keep looking forward, right between your knees when you're back to center. Yeah, so you're staying upright. Don't lower down. Come up a little. Yeah, just like that. That's beautiful. Good. And then rotate. Yeah. Good. Good. Good, you guys. Couple more. Now, as we do this, we're going to squeeze both of our inner thighs a little bit, but I want you to focus more on the side you're rotating towards. So if your chest is pointing towards the left side, think more about that left inner thigh squeezing. And if it's going towards the right side, right inner thigh more. And again. Almost there. 2. Good. Last one each side. Nice. Come all the way down. Now for fun, drop the ball, place one foot on top of it. Now, toes point forward, okay? Push the toes, the big toe mound that are on the ball or pillow, down into it. Lift your hips into a little bridge. Good. Feel how the side that is elevated and on the squishy surface, that hamstring is working a lot harder. Yeah. Hinge down. Press into the hamstring. I guess you're pressing into the foot. Your calf will also be helping you here. A few more. Thinking about dragging your heel towards you as you push down into your big toe mound. 4, 3. Trying to keep a little posterior tilt here, so you might feel your underbutt a little bit, but it's less about squeezing your cheeks really hard, right? Last one, hold. The side that's on the ground, lift your heel. Push your heel into the ground. Lift your heel and down. Now, if you feel comfortable with it, you can lift your whole foot. If you don't, stick with the heel. Good. Making sure your weight is on your shoulder blades rather than your neck. 2. Last one. Guess what, you guys? I have wonderful news. Other side. So if you've got a couple pillows instead of a ball, no problem. We're just gonna bring it on up. So push into your toe on the side that's on the elevated surface and come back down. You can also think about dragging that heel towards you. Couple more. Good. Anybody not feeling their hamstring on this side? Great. You know, we focus so much on glute, and glute is super important, but so's our hammy, so's our inner thigh. Last one like this. Lift it up, and then you can lift your heel and down, and heel and down. And maybe this is where you are today. Maybe you lift your whole foot, which is fine. If you feel this in your back, don't lift your foot, right? Focus on finding a little core connection. Because even though this is leg, this is also ab. Because otherwise, our whole body is going to shift. 3, 2, last 1. Come all the way down. Move the prop out of the way. Extend your legs away from you. Now, just just notice where your hips and pubic bone are, right? If you're really arching in your back and your hip bones are really high as compared to your pubic bone and your ribs are lifting, I need them to kind of settle on the mat a little bit. And then just pull your hip bones toward your face, letting your low back relax. If that is almost impossible and you have to bend your knees, hey, guess what? It's okay, bend your knees for me just an inch, okay? Because I want your spine to be able to move here. Bring your hands to the sky, and then connecting your arms into your abs, allow your hands to reach overhead. Now inhale, curl, and then exhale, roll up. Yeah. Guess what? It's really tricky. First one never counts. So as we're doing this, we have options. So there are gardening pads. So if you need a gardening pad underneath your low back to give you support, grab one. The other things you can do are bend your knees. Yeah, I'd say the one on the right, yeah. Because you're just gonna keep it lengthways, slide it underneath your lumbar spine. Yeah, good. Good. And then let your knees bend, it's totally fine. Boom, see? Easy breezy, yeah. I had to use a pad for a good year and a half when I first started doing Pilates because my spine just didn't move, right? So if you have an anterior tilt of your pelvis or like your back just kind of hurts when it goes into a lot of like flexion or your hip flexors are super tight, you know. Yeah, there are lots of reasons to use a pad. Yeah, good. 2 more. Think about curling. Yeah, and a gentle roll. So sometimes if we think of up, it's a lot harder than if we roll forward. Yeah, and if you get stuck, use your legs. Yeah, just like that. Last one like this, you guys. Down, and then up. Good, nice job. We're all gonna bend our knees, feet flat. Now let's chat about this for a second. When we get down there, you can keep it right there, yeah. When we get down, if you're like, oh, now I can't lift because this is impossible, Audra, grab your leg, help yourself up, okay? No problem. Now reach forward first. We're going to think about, if you've ever used the bar on the springboard, right? That pressing down allows a little bit more connection to your abs, yeah? So hands forward, arms on your knees. Your hands can be down or facing each other. Think about your armpits and abs, press them down into your legs. Hopefully you just felt your muscles kick on a little more. Relax your shoulders so it's less pec. Think about down here, yeah. And then push, yeah, good. Rounding your back a little bit can help, yeah. Now, curl back a few inches, curl back a few inches, couple inches, couple more inches, yeah. It's like red light, green light. And then come up a couple inches. Yeah. Boom, boom. Yeah, beautiful, everybody. I was watching you guys in the mirrors, in case you were wondering, yeah. And curl. Good. Good. Think about tucking each time. And then use your breath, yeah. So let's, for fun, try holding our breath here. So inhale, hold your breath. It's so hard, isn't it? Right now. Big inhale. Then exhale. Yeah. Then inhale. Exhale. It's so much easier, yeah? One more. You guys are like, I guess. It is. Good. Now take the prop, pop it behind you. And hands behind your thighs if you need. Curl until you make contact with the prop, but try not to put all your weight in it, right? You're gonna curl until you make contact with it. Pull your belly button through your spine. Hands can come forward. Good. Then take one hand out to the side. Try not to move your torso. Good. And then back. And other side. It's tricky to not move the ribs or hips, right? It's hard, I know. So if you have one side that's like, yeah, I got this, and one side that's like, why would you do this to me? It's fine. Use your breath, right? So if I'm here and I need to like hold on to one side and breathe, that's okay. You can always hold on to your thighs. If your hip flexors are gripping, take your legs away. Yeah, good. Now we get to add on, if you're ready, we're gonna hold it out to the side and then rotate, hello, and then back. Yeah, feel free also if you want to bring your feet together, knees apart, yeah. And then, yeah. Sometimes they just like to help a lot. I always think of hip flexors like overly protective parents sometimes. They're like, please let me help you. And you're like, that's cool, but good. Anybody not feeling their abs a little bit? All right, great. Glad you're coming with me. Last set. Good. And then walk the ball back a little, hands behind your head. Now, the prop is like mid-rib for me. So if you're up really, really far and that feels good, you can be there, or you can come down a little bit so your hips are flat, okay? So let yourself extend up and over the prop. This should feel pretty nice. And then curl forward, curl your ribs and collarbones forward. Yeah, hold. And then slowly decelerate. And curl. Good. Yeah. And then think about slowing your extension down from your abs, right? 2 more like this. Last one. And we get to hold. And then if it works for you, bring one leg at a time to tabletop. Squeeze your inner thighs together like you're trying to pop a balloon. Move a little bit away from your ball, yeah. Good, yeah. And then you can push one foot away and fold it in. Push the other foot away. Now if legs in tabletop doesn't work for you, no problem. 1 foot down and then down. Yeah, now we can add a rotation if you like. If your feet are down, rotate towards the bent knee. Good. Rotate towards the bent knee, yeah. Good. Or push, then slow rotation. You can also just use a hand for a little bit of support if you need to. We have just a couple more. Almost there, you guys. Last one each side, you're all amazing. Both feet down. Relax over the prop. Good. And then come all the way up. We're going to come into a little child's pose for a second, as long as that works for you. If it doesn't feel great in your hips, you can always be in a slightly different position. Now, slide your elbows in a little sphinx position. Shoulder blades draw down your back. Yeah. Now, one hand is going to slide down behind you. Now, it's easy to try to have that shoulder internally rotated, but everything we've done, which is helping set that shoulder and widen through your collarbone, is what I want. Reach the hand behind you some. Flip the knuckles to the sky, palm down, and then flip the palm to center, and then flip the palm down as it goes to a T, in, and again. T, up. If that doesn't feel okay in your shoulder for any reason, it can be on the floor. No problem. Good. Last one, like this. So set, and then other side. Now, another thing to keep in mind is when our palms come up or above us, it is okay to let your shoulder lift, right? So posteriorly tilt, more than extra depress, and then flip the palm, and then reach the fingertips forward if you need to. Then reach the fingertips away and down. A lot of times our upper traps overwork, but that means that everything else that's supposed to be doing the job that the upper traps do starts getting a little sleepy, but it also means that the upper traps stop being able to effectively do the job they're supposed to do, right? Last one like this. Good. Both hands down, shoulders draw down, press into your hands, lift your chest. Good, and then down. So think about rotating your shoulder blades up, a little extension through your thoracic spine. So if you tend to really extend through your thoracic, it's okay to allow a little bit of lumbar to help. If you tend to be pretty flexed in your lumbar and pretty flexed in your thoracic and your lumbar tries to do all the work, think about the upper back doing it. Good. Yeah, good. Last one. Come back, tuck your toes, press your hips up, snap, crackle, pop, and walk your hands towards your feet and dangle. Go ahead and roll yourself all the way up. Thumbs come forward. Open your collarbones, thumbs back. Good. Relax your arms, slide your shoulders up to your ears. And just let gravity help on your exhale. Nice job, you guys. Give yourselves a round of applause. Thank you so much for joining me. I hope you have a great rest of your day.